From Busch Stadium in St. Louis, it's Game 6 of the 1968 World Series replay between the visiting Detroit Tigers and the home team St. Louis Cardinals. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining me this evening. It's been a while since I've been on, but I want to go ahead and wrap this project up and move on. So, today, we have Denny McLain on the mound for the visiting Detroit Tigers, and he will face Ray Washburn of the St. Louis Cardinals. This game was played on Wednesday, October 9th, before 54,692 fans in St. Louis. So without any further ado, here are the starting lineups for today's game for the visiting Detroit Tigers. Dick McAuliffe will lead off and play second. Mickey Stanley will play short. Al Kaline will play right field. Norm Cash will play first. Willie Horton will be in left field. Jim Northrup will play center. Bill Freehan will be the catcher. Don Wirt will play third base. And Denny McLain will be on the mound. McAuliffe at second, Stanley at short, Kaline in right, Cash at first, Horton in left, Northrup in center, Freehan catching, Don Wirt at third, and Denny McLain on the mound. For the hometown St. Louis Cardinals, Lou Brock will lead off and play left field. Curt Flood will be in center. Roger Maris will be in right. Orlando Cepeda will be at first. Tim McCarver will be behind the plate and catching. Mike Shannon will play third base. Julian Javier will be at second. Dal Maxville will be at short. And Ray Washburn will be on the mound. Brock in left, Flood in center, Maris in right. Cepeda at first, McCarver catching. Shannon at third, Javier at second, Maxville at short, and Ray Washburn on the mound. The umpires that day were Bill Haller behind the plate. Tom Gorman umpired at first. Jim Honachek was the umpire at second. Stan Landis was at third. Bill Kinnaman was in left field. And Doug Harvey was the right field umpire that day. So, let's play some baseball as I try to pull up some information. Beg your pardon. Let me give me just a moment, if you don't mind, to pull this up. And there it is. Great. Oh, right then. Well, let's go ahead and get started then. And thank you again for joining me as we begin this Game 6 of the 1968 World Series. So here we go with Dick McAuliffe leading off, to be followed by Mickey Stanley and then Al Kaline. McAuliffe hitting .316 in this World Series. Washburn looks in on a 3-2 pitch to Tim McCarver. And as we wait for the camera to adjust, here's McAuliffe. Liner to Javier, right behind second base. To the right of second base, one man out. Here's Mickey Stanley hitting .158. Right-handed hitter. 3-1 from Washburn. and that ball misses ball 4. So Mickey Stanley is the first Tiger base runner today at first. Here's Al Kaline, 444 in this series. He has no homers and 1 run batted in. Stanley down at first. Here's Kaline. Swing, ground ball to Javier. He has 1 play over to first, tosses it over to Cepeda for 2 outs, and Stanley moves down to second. That brings up Norm Cash, hitting only a $150 in this series, but he has 5 RBIs. Runner in scoring position with 2 men out, with Norm Cash up. 0-2 pitch to Norm Cash. That ball is going to be looped into short left field, but Dow Maxwell at the edge of the infield catches it, and that retires the side for Detroit. So the Cardinals bring Lou Brock, Curt Flood, and Roger Maris up. Brock hitting an even 500, 2 RBIs in the series. 1-2 pitch from McLain. That ball is going to hit right in front of Al Kaline. A liner right, base hit. Brock moves into second with a double. And so the Cardinals have their leadoff man on second with Curt Flood now coming up. 208 for Flood. No homers, no RBIs in this series for him. And he wraps it down to third. Brock moves over, but Cash can't handle the throw, and that run is going to score. We're with a throwing error over to Cash, and the Cardinals take a 1-0 lead with Curt Flood down at second. Here's Roger Maris, 214 in the series, 2 runs batted in. From the left side, Maris, ground ball to Stanley. Flood moving on the infield grounder, and he's going to move over to third, and Maris is thrown out 6-3. So here's Orlando Cepeda with a runner on third and only 1 out. Cepeda hitting 250, 3 RBIs in the series. McLain with Cepeda with a roller down to third, but Wirt gets it over to first, and the Cardinals get their second run on the fielder's choice by Wirt. So that's an RBI for Cepeda, and it's 2-0 St. Louis. Here's McCarver. Nobody on. He's going to take a call, third strike. And that ends the inning for St. Louis, but they get 2 runs on 1 hit with nobody left. And we go to the second with Detroit down 2-0. Here's Willie Horton. 222 on the season. In the World Series for Horton. He has a homer and an RBI. 0-2 pitch coming from Ray Washburn, and that's a strikeout. Washburn gets his first K of the day. Here's Northrop. Northrop hitting only 143 in the series with no homers, no RBIs. From the left side of the plate, Northrop out to left field, but it's going to drop right in front of Lou Brock, and that's a base hit for Detroit, their first hit of the game. So Northrop is on for Bill Freehan. Freehan, 235 in the series, no homers, no RBIs. Washburn pitches. There's a fly ball. Flood's going to run in from center field and catch that one, and that makes 2 outs for Don Wirt. Wirt is hitless in 13 at-bats this World Series, but does have an RBI to his credit. So Wirt with 2 outs, and he looks at a call, third strike from Ray Washburn, and that retires the side. The Tigers leave a man on, and it's 2-0 St. Louis. Mike Shannon now up for the Cardinals, playing third. He is hitting .450 with an RBI in this series. Here's Shannon. From McLain, 2-2 pitch. Shannon takes a seat. That is going to be Denny McLain's second strikeout of the day. Here's Julian Javier. Javier hitting 200, 4 RBIs in the series for Javier. Javier swings, and that ball is launched. The ballpark will not hold it. Julian Javier with a long home run to left field, and that makes it a 3-0 game. Julian Javier with a home run off of McLain. Which brings up Dow Maxfield, shortstop hitting 200, no homers, no RBIs. Wine in the pitch by Denny McLain. Maxfield's going to loop one in the right, and that's going to drop in front of K-Line for a base hit. So Dow Maxfield is on first now with one out with Ray Washburn at the plate. He bunts. He tries to bunt and fails 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch to McLain. He squares again, but McLain is going to catch it on a little bitty looper back on, and he didn't even move them off the mound. So Washburn pops up with the bunt, and that makes it 2 out. So this is Lou Brock now up. He's 1 for 1. Maxwell down at first. McLain to Brock. Fly ball right to K-Line. Barely had to move for it, and that's going to retire beside. But the Cardinals take a 3-0 lead on the Javier home run. And so we move to the top of the third with Denny McLain to lead it off. Wine in the pitch. Fly ball left. Brock on his horse. That ball is going to get over Brock's head right under the 388 sign as Denny McLain is going to come into third with a triple. So the Tigers have a runner in scoring position from the 9-hitter. And here's Dick McAuliffe up. McAuliffe 0 for 1. Wine and the pitch from Washburn. Ground ball deep behind second. Javier gets it over to Cepeda. And McLain stays at third. So there's 1 out with Stanley up. 158 with a walk in this game for Mickey Stanley. He has 2 RBIs. There's Stanley launched. That ball is out of here. Mickey Stanley with a 2-run homer to left off Ray Washburn. And all of a sudden, the Tigers are back in this game, 3-2. Here's Al K-Line. K-Line 0 for 1, now hitting .421. Washburn, 3-2 pitch to K-Line, ripped up the middle over second base for a base hit. K-Line comes through with a 2-out hit, and here's a 1-out hit, and here's Norm Cash. 0 for 1 for Cash. Wine in the pitch, swing and a miss. K-Line going down to second. He's going to be thrown out by several feet. So strike him out, throw him out, and the Tigers score 2 on the Stanley homer. And that makes it a 3-2 game. So now Denny McLain, who's thrown 31 pitches in this game, is going to face Curt Flood. Flood is 0 for 1, but has scored a run. Wine and the pitch. Flood down to third. Work up with it. Cash with the pickup. 1 man out. Here's Roger Maris, 0 for 1 on the day. Wine in the pitch by McLain. Ground ball to McAuliffe. He picks it up. He throws it over to Cash, and that's going to make it 2 outs. And here's Cepeda. Cepeda, 0 for 1 with an RBI. The wind and the pitch. Cepeda's going to loop one into right field. Into the glove of Al K-Line. K-Line gets it back in. And Cepeda is now down at first with his first hit of the game for Tim McCarver. 0 for 1 for McCarver. Ground ball. Stanley takes it to the bag himself to get the 3rd out. 1 man left on for St. Louis. It's still 3-2 St. Louis going into the top of the 4th. Willie Horton to face Ray Washburn, who's now thrown 63 pitches. Horton hitting .211. Wind and the pitch. Fly ball. Brock runs in a little bit and picks that one up to 1 out for Northrop. Northrop 1 for 1. He swings and misses. Washburn with his 4th strikeout of the day. Here's Bill Freehan up. 0 for 1. Freehan, the catcher. Wind by Washburn in the pitch. That ball's going to miss inside for ball 4. And Freehan is down at first. Now for Don Wirt, we'll try to keep this inning alive. He is still hitless in this World Series, 14 at-bats. Here's Wirt. Wind in the pitch. Fly ball. Center field. Flood runs in for it, and he's going to make the play. So that leaves a man on for the Tigers, and it's now we go to the top of the bottom of the 4th with St. Louis still up 3-2. Shannon now batting for St. Louis against Denny McLain. Full count to Shannon. Ground ball down the line, 3rd base line. Pass Don Wert's glove. Horton picks it up, throws it in to second base, and Shannon's going to be in there with a double. So the Cardinals get a runner in scoring position with nobody out for Julian Javier, who's already hit a home run in this game. Wine in the pitch, ground ball Stanley. He looks the runner back over to first to Cash. One man out. Now Maxfield now up 1-for-1 on the day. McLain. Maxfield loops it over the head of Dick McAuliffe at second. Kaline picks it up, throws it in, but it's not going to be in time. They held Shannon up at third on that looping hit. So here's Ray Washburn up now, 0-for-1 with one man out. Runners on the corners. McLain trying to get out of it, and he does with a strikeout by getting Ray Washburn, but he's got one more batter to face in Lou Brock. 1-for-2 with a run scored for Brock. Wine in the pitch, fly ball. Horton moves over near the foul line, almost the foul line, but catches it. And the Cardinals leave two men on, and Detroit just dodges a bullet, and they are still behind 3-2-2. Here's Denny McLain. McLain has thrown 81 pitches in this game, and he's going to stay in there. McLain to face Washburn. 1-for-1 on the day with a run scored. Washburn looks. I beg your pardon. I had some wrong information there. Ray Washburn has thrown 81 pitches, not McLain. I don't have a pitch count on McLain. I'll get that in the next inning. Here's McAuliffe leading it back up, leading off to 0-for-2. McAuliffe rips one to right. Roger Maris running forward. He's got to run almost all the way to the wall, so McAuliffe is going to get into second base with a double. So Detroit all of a sudden, with Washburn now having thrown 92 pitches, Mickey Stanley is up. He's 1-for-1 with 2 RBIs. Here's Stanley. 2-run homer earlier. Pitch. Ground ball to Maxfield. Runner going. Maxfield over to Cepeda. 2 men out, but McAuliffe is down at third with the tying run on for Al Kaline. Let's see if Washburn can get Kaline out here. Fly ball. Center field. Kurt Flood can't get it. It's over his head. He brings it back in. Al Kaline ties it with a double, and that's going to be all for Ray Washburn. So the Cardinals are going to bring in Ron Willis. See if he can get one more man out for St. Louis. So Ron Willis is in there now to face Norm Cash. Cash on the day, 0-for-2. Kaline in scoring position in a 3-3 tie. Willis checks. And there's the pitch. Cash down to Javier. Javier flips it over to Cepeda, and he's going to greet that ball out for a single. Javier a little bit casual throwing that ball up over there, and Norm Cash beats it out for an infield hit. Keeps the inning alive for Willie Horton. Horton is due. He is 0-for-2. Willis. Bad luck for Willis on that one. Horton down to third. Shannon fields it, comes up with it, over to second base to Javier, and that retires the side, but the Tigers get a run in the fifth, and it's now 3-2-3. So Kurt Flood will face Denny McLain. Denny McLain has only thrown 61 pitches in this game, but we still are in the fifth inning. So here's Flood. Flood, 0-for-2. 0-2 pitch to Kurt Flood. Fly ball. Stanley runs in. He's got it. One man out. Here's Roger Maris. Maris looking for his first hit, 0-for-2. Wine in the pitch. Ground ball down to Stanley. Stanley up with it, throws it, and he is out for 2 outs. And here's Cepeda. Cepeda, 1-for-2 with an RBI. Wine in the pitch. Fly ball. Stanley running for it. That ball. Oh! He does have it. He had to go back for that ball, but he did catch it. So that retires the side for the Cardinals. So we move to the top of the sixth in a 3-3 tie with Jim Northrup up to face Ron Willis, to be followed by Bill Freehan and Don Wirt. Here's Northrup 1-for-2 on the day. Wine in the pitch. Northrop rips one to the middle, up the middle. Base hit. So Jim Northrop is on. First base for Bill Freehand. Ron Willis trying to get him out. Freehand just launched one off the top of the wall, just to the left center field. And Jim Northrop is going to score an RBI double by Bill Freehand, and that makes it 4-3. And here's Don Wirt. Don Wirt launches one, but to left field, but Lou Brock has it. One out. That ball did not miss by much. Denny McLain now up. Check a pitch count on McLain here. He's thrown 71 pitches. He's got a 1-run lead. We're going to leave him in there. Here's McLain. Ground ball down to Maxville. Looks the runner back. Over to first to Cepeda. And that's going to be 2 outs. So here's a leadoff man, McAuliffe, up. And he gets intentionally walked to face Mickey Stanley, who is 1 for 2 on the day with 2 RBIs. And that homer, let's see if they can get him out this time. Willis looks in. Stanley pops it up right side. And that's going to be put out by Orlando Cepeda. But the Tigers take a 4-3 lead. And we move to the bottom of the 6th. McLain has thrown 71 pitches in this game, so Tim McCarver's going to leave it off, to be followed by Mike Shannon and Julian Javier. McCarver 0 for 2. He gets walked. Here's Mike Shannon. Shannon 1 for 2. Bunts. And Don Wirt is right there to catch it. 1 out. Shannon could not get the bunt down. Here's Javier with a homer on the day and 2 trips. Javier bunts out to the front of the mound. Freehand quickly throws it down to Cash, makes it 2 men out. And here's Dal Maxville. Maxville is 2 for 2 on the day with a runner in scoring position in the form of Tim McCarver with 2 outs. Let's see if he can tie it. Maxville swings and misses. Danny McLain with his 4th strikeout of the game. And so we go to the top of the 7th. 4-3 Detroit. Al Kaline up to face Ron Willis. Kaline, 2 for 3 on the day. Fly ball right. And that's going to drop in. Maris can't get to it. It looked like he was going to try to go for it, but he did not get it. And that's a single. So that's going to be it for Ron Willis. St. Louis is going to bring in another pitcher. So the Cardinals are going to make a double switch here. Dick Hughes is going to come in into the 8th spot, replacing Dal Maxville. And Dick Schofield is going to come in and play shortstop and bat 9th. So Hughes is now in there for the Cardinals. Here's Norm Cash. Cash, 1 for 3 on the day. Al Kaline at first. Nobody out. Cash. 0-2 pitch to Norm Cash. That ball is ripped to center field. It gets over the head of Kurt Flood. Kaline is going to round third, come around to score, and all of a sudden, Norm Cash has an RBI double. He makes it to third. He is credited with a double and goes to third. And now Detroit leads it 5-3. So here's Willie Horton up, 0 for 3 on the day, with a runner on second with nobody out. And they walk him. Northrop, 208, 2 men on, nobody out. A run in, 5-3 Detroit. Hughes to face Northrop. Wine in the pitch. Northrop throws one into center field. Runners are moving. And there was a throw home, but he is going to be safe. So Norm Cash makes it home. I believe that's correct. Let's see. Yes, that would have been Norm Cash making it home. So now the Tigers have 2 runs in the inning. Two men on, nobody out. The Cardinals still looking to get an out here. Here's Bill Freehan with Dick Hughes on the mound. Ryan in the pitch, deep to short. Maxville over to second, over to Cepeda. 6-4-3 double play with Willie Horton moving to third. And here's Don Wirt. That ball's going to get past McCarver. And Willie Horton is going to score the third run of the inning for Detroit. And it's now a 7-3 game. And here's Don Wirt to face Dick Hughes. Wirt, fly ball, deep right. Will the ballpark hold it? Home run. Don Wirt with his first hit of the series and his first home run in the postseason. And all of a sudden, the Tigers lead this game 8-3. Denny McLain up. 2 outs, but 4 in for Detroit. And McLain swings and misses. Hughes finally gets an out. And that's going to be the end of the 7th for Detroit. But 4 big runs for the Tigers. And now Denny McLain out there. He's thrown 82 pitches this game. And he is going to face Dick McAuliffe to be followed by Stanley and K-Line. 8-3 Detroit. Swing and a miss. McAuliffe goes down on strikes. I'm sorry. Schofield. I'm sorry. Dick Schofield was up. I beg your pardon. Excuse me. Dick Schofield was up for the Cardinals. I got my wires crossed there. Here's Lou Brock. Brock 1 for 3. Swing and a miss. McLain with 2 more with another strikeout. And here's Curt Flood. 0 for 3. Wine in the pitch. Flood, little dribbler back to the mound. McLain up with it. Throws over. Makes the play. And that's going to do it for the Cardinals in the bottom of the 7th. Detroit up in the top of the 8th with the leadoff man on McAuliffe, followed by Stanley and K-Line. Here's Dick McAuliffe swinging, liner to center, base hit. Flood up with it. And Dick Hughes has seen enough. Mel Nelson is going to come in and pitch for the Cardinals. So Mel Nelson has not pitched in this series. But here's Mickey Stanley with a runner at first. And that ball gets past Tim McCarver on a wild pitch by Mel Nelson. And we now have a runner in scoring position in the form of Dick McAuliffe. Here's Stanley, 1 for 3 on the day with 2 RBIs and a homer. Nobody out, 8-3 Detroit. 2-1 pitch down the left field line. That's going to get past Shannon. Brock over in the corner, gets the ball back in. But that's going to be a double. Dick McAuliffe scores. It's now 9-3. As a historical tidbit of information, in that actual game in 1968, Detroit won that game 13-1. So let's see what happens here. The Cardinals have already scored more runs in this game than they did that day in real life. Here's K-Line with Stanley on second. K-Line 3 for 4 with an RBI. Here's Mel Nelson looking in. 1 ball, 2 strikes. That ball is popped up, and Orlando Cepeda runs in to make the play for the first out of the inning. Here's Norm Cash, 2 for 4 with an RBI. Pitch, fly ball. Who's going to take it? Flood takes it. 2 men out. Here's Willie Horton, 0 for 3 with a run scored. Now hitting 190 in the series. Horton down to Shannon, over to first to Cepeda, and that is going to retire the side. But Detroit gets another run and makes it 9-2-3. So Maris will come up in the bottom of the 8th to be followed by Orlando Cepeda and Tim McCarver. Maris 0 for 3 on the day. McLain's thrown 92 pitches. That's a fly ball to Stanley in center. 1 man out. Here's Cepeda. Fly ball. Left field, Willie Horton. McLain still in control, 2 outs. Here's Tim McCarver. Ground ball. That's an out. 3 up, 3 down. Sorry for the misspeaks. A little bit tired doing this tonight. I'll try to do a little bit better. So now we're in the top of the 9th inning with Detroit up, with Jim Northrup up. 3 for 4 for Northrup. Fly ball. Right field. Maris under it. 1 man out. Here's Freehan. Freehan 1 for 3. Pitch. Down to Maxville. 2 outs. Mel Nelson in control now. Here's Don Wirt with his first hit of the series. A solo home run in the last inning. 1 for 4. Wirt. Ground ball. Maxville. Over to first. And that retires the side for Detroit. So Detroit is going to make a defensive change, which was actually done in 1968 when this game was played. Ray Orler is going to come in for Willie Horton and play shortstop. Mickey Stanley is going to move to center field, and Jim Northrup is going to move to left. McLain is going to be lifted. He is not going to pitch the 9th inning. Darrell Patterson is going to come in and pitch for McLain in the 9th. So let's see how he does. He has quite a big of a cushion to sit on. 6-run lead. Here's Mike Shannon to be followed by Javier, and then the pitcher slot, Mel Nelson. Darrell Patterson on the mound. Wine pitches, ground ball to Euler. Over to first. 1 man out. Here is Julian Javier. 2 outs to go for Detroit. Patterson looks in. Javier swings out to McAuliffe. 2 men out. So we're going to bring a pinch hitter in now for Mel Nelson, and it is going to be Joe Haig. So Joe Haig is going to pinch hit for Mel Nelson with 2 men out. He has 1 at bat in the series. Haig up. Patterson pitches to Haig, swing and a miss, and Detroit forces a 7th game in this World Series the same way they did it in 1968, winning today 9-3 behind Denny McLain in a 15-hit attack against the Cardinals. Here's your box line score. The Tigers scored 9 runs on 15 hits with 1 error, and they left 8 men on base. Denny McLain gets the win. Darrell Patterson comes in to mop up. McLain is now 1-0. For St. Louis, 3 runs on 6 hits, no errors, and they left 5 men on base. Ron Willis takes the loss in relief. He is now 0-1. Well, thanks for joining me this evening for this Game 6 World Series replay game. I'll be back soon with the 7th and deciding game as to see if the Tigers can repeat history and come back from a 3-1 lead as they actually did in 1968 to win the World Championship. So until next time, goodbye for now.